People are genuinely upset. The PlayStation 5 quest is much more than you think, and some notable details that are going around about the game in general. We got a lot to talk about today. What's up, World Super? Back into the video, and today we're covering all things Hogwarts Legacy, specifically the PS5 quest, and a few other notable things that people are talking about and discussing. We'll first jumpstart into the female faces. Now, this one's a very, very controversial topic and subject, as I haven't really played a female character. I've only been playing a male character in this game, so I don't know the gist of how things are coming out and how things are appearing. But my male character, when I made him, the only thing different was that he was a little bit darker skinned in game, but I don't really mind, I don't really care. I've noticed that people have said like the lighting issues have caused in the character creation screen, and there's even like a mod out called a paler skin mod and like a darker skin mod. Both ends seem to not be covered very well. There's not very many pale skins, there's not very many like dark skins, so they've kind of broadened that with the mods, which is really nice. I hope they do fix that in the game. Now, people have also noticed that in the game itself that their character looks much different than the character creation, at least as far as the females go. I noticed for mine, like I said, I didn't really have much difference. My character came out pretty well, and they do make the males look really good in this game. It is quite odd how much they really made the females like really odd looking, but someone pointed out what it could be and why they look that way, although I don't know how this doesn't apply to the male faces as well. I think in general they just didn't want the females to look very good for a multitude of reasons. There's probably a ton there. But someone made a Reddit post on how to get the original face back, and it basically goes through that the faces are being adjusted for the kind of like expressions and animations. So they're in their normal state, they don't get applied to this like overarching facial expression that's causing them to have like a longer nose and other things like that. It's like stretching their face weird. You can even kind of see it in this GIF. The nose like gets stretched and kind of resets its position to a facial animation. So there's clearly two states of the face, and they showcase a bunch of images here that like they're pretty wild. The difference from the character creation screen to what it looks like in game, like it looks like a completely different character, and I'm not surprised people are complaining about this, which is just sad. Like I get like the NPCs looking a little bit ugly for the women in particular, but from the character creator and your character that you make in general, you kind of want to make your character how you want it to look, and if it looks somewhat different in game, that's a little bit rough. Like especially for the females that actually play this game, they're not enjoying themselves in that manner, I guarantee. And it's just an odd decision there, and odd choices. I really hope they do fix that, although I doubt they will. This is definitely going to have to be fixed with mods. These game companies, the reality is they don't go back and fix these big overarching changes that provide no financial success to them. Because the game's already sold a bunch. They're not going to resell more games because they fixed the facial animations. This has to go from a passionate developer, from a developer that really, really cares. And I just don't see that in this one. This one was just a big IP, a big game, and it's not a bad game, but it just doesn't have that that super passionate crowd behind it that's working on the game that really wants to make that a better adjustment. And you can clearly tell that with the PC release and the cut corners in the game, they don't have that type of passion that other game studios have. Now, it's very rare nowadays, so it's not like they didn't have any at all. And the art team for most games clearly are very, very passionate. You can tell the art team is very, very passionate, but everything else is kind of lackluster and cut corners. Now, I'll briefly mention, people talked about there being a weather system in the game, and it's very weird. The rain only lasts for 10 seconds, and it's gone. It's very odd, and they said that when it's a rainy night, it just comes and goes. And the reason why it's such a weird and big ordeal is because they're comparing the ASMR videos. If you haven't seen these or into ASMR, probably haven't seen them, but there's some ASMR videos for the game, and they made them like, you know, someone in front of the fireplace and someone in front of outside, and like the ambience and stuff like that. It's kind of cool, actually. They're kind of nice. But there's one that specifically showcases the rain and showcases what it would be like raining at Hogwarts, and it literally uses the in-game engine. Like it's literally just a video of the game itself, and using it to be an ASMR video, and the rain in game only lasts for like 10 seconds. In fact, I've never seen it rain in game, which is very odd. Maybe this is a weather system that they somehow forgot to activate, or it's just kind of like on a skewed system right now and they're trying to figure it out. But I hope that does get adjusted, because we do need more weather stuff to happening in this game especially. Now, moving on to the PS5 quest. I've seen so many topics about this PS5 quest, saying it's the best quest in the game, that you're missing out on this, and it really does suck. And some PC modders have figured out how to kind of get the quest in the game, but it's not really in the files, so they're kind of like unlocked it somewhat, but it's not fully unlocked because the quest isn't there in particular, and people can't get it to work right. So I don't think modders are going to be able to figure it out. It also is like against copyright to do that. Not like many people care about that in general. However, it's just that is a little bit kind of like on closed topics. It's very hard to discuss that in the open. But back to the quest itself. The quest is apparently like one of these game-changing quests that it just completely changed the aspect of it. And I'll go into spoiler territory just for the quest itself. And I do know that it lets you open up. So spoiler warning. It lets you open up your own shop. And after you open up this shop, it's like yours in Hogsmeade, which is kind of crazy that that's something that they've taken away from every other release besides PlayStation. Sony wants to give it a lot of money, and I know Sony is very, very, very aggressive when it comes to exclusives. In fact, back in the day, Microsoft asked Sony to stop with the exclusive stuff, and Sony was like, nah, we're good. So that's why you see Microsoft has kind of bought out some game companies now, and now making exclusive. And all the Sony fanboys are mad. It's like, well, listen, the guy at Sony told Microsoft off and basically told him, hey, listen, man, we're not we're doing the exclusive. So, and now but Microsoft has way more money, and so it's like, why would you do that? I don't understand it. You know, I used to be a Sony fanboy back in the day, and I switched over to Xbox, and so I kind of like them both. I like all platforms. They're all great. It really does suck when things are exclusive. I don't think it's good for anybody. You know, fanboyism for a certain console or game or platform, there's just no reason for it. All these consoles provide an amazing, you know, amplitude of different things. You know, Sony has great sports games and great sports players and competitors. Xbox has great FPS players and a great online community, an insane looking for group system that I recommend everybody to use. And then PC has the widest variety of different things and being able to change your graphic settings and all that nature. It just doesn't have the same online presence as Xbox or PlayStation. But so making the Quest exclusive to one of these platforms really just takes away from all of them, and it doesn't help anybody. And now you got people from Sony and PlayStation be like, man, this Quest is insane. Like, I wish you guys had it, because it's just, it's game changing. They said there's so many different things happening in the mission. There's a ton of different stuff that like doesn't happen in the game itself. There's like a bunch of different cool things that happen inside the mission itself, and then you get to open up your own Hogsmeade shop. It's just crazy that this was one of the things they tailored to Sony exclusive, because it's just so large that usually you don't get that big of a thing to be exclusive. But Sony must have put out a lot of money for that, because if it's as game changing and as it crazy as it is, people are saying it's the best quest in the game. If it's that good, then Sony had to have, because I don't see any other reason why they would have made this mission exclusive to that platform. But that does about cover it for this video. There are other complaints I can go into and things that people want to talk about, but I figured I'd just bring up these main 3 issues and points, because it's been a large point of discussion, especially that Sony quest has been a major quest, or a major discussion around that quest. And I also wanted to bring up the female face thing, because it feels like not a lot of representation is happening there. I noticed a lot of people are playing male characters, and obviously it's probably like a larger male population playing the game. So in general, I'm hoping that we can kind of get this out there and showcase, hey, hopefully they can fix the faces. Although I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think they will. I think it's going to be mods. But anyways, that does about cover it for this video. And if you enjoyed, I'd like a like and subscribe. And until the next one, deuces.